and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, everybody watching, listening, whatever you're doing with this podcast, it is episode 15 of the podcast, the Snobcast. We're here once again with my much more talented co-host, Shay Simone. Say what's up.
That is correct, not correct. He's totally hyperboleing. I love you all, and how are you doing?
And again, I brought back, because she's so much smarter than me as well,
And me.
Dr.
Dr.
Gina Delgado. Gina. All right, Gina.
I have so much fun. Y'all are gonna see me a lot if you don't mind. I'm just gonna sneak in here.
She's just gonna sneak in. We do have a special guest, and I put the bat signal out for the best and most knowledgeable Billy Wilder fans I could find, and I found the amazing Film Guy 97 on Twitter. His name's Travis. Travis, say what's up to everybody listening.
How's it going? It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you, man. Pleasure to have you here. And I mean, once I got started talking to you about this this Billy Wilder thing, you kept hitting me with the good-ish that I needed to hear to know that you were the right guy for this podcast. Also, I wanted to make mention of the fact that you will hear clickety-clacketing and a little bit more noise in the background because the handsome, lovely Landon baby boy is with us today.
A man, myth, legend, who we can never stop talking about.
That's right. That's my boy right there. He's with us today, and I'm very happy to have him here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, always, man.
Not yet playing World of Warcraft, but soon.
Exactly. As I spoiled just now, our topic today, we're going to do our second ever director spotlight. Our first one was on my personal favorite film director, Spike Jonze.
Which was amazing.
And has some of the best artwork you've ever put together with us as the Wild Thing. I'm Max.
We should do like a segment on that at some point. Is like the top, like our top 5 favorite thumbnails.
Oh, the best thumbnail ever is last month's.
Like thumbnails.
Last month's thumbnail is pretty damn good.
Wait, what did we do?
Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, it was Eternal
Sunshine. Because it was easy. All you had to do was change my beanie color and change your hair color. Add some ice, and it was perfect.
It was great.
It's perfect.
It was very easy too. I got it done in I think under 15 minutes.
Also, you making a Super Mario and Luigi was pretty damn good.
Oh, that was great. But no, I think one of my favorites was the Back to the Future thumbnail.
It's really good, right? You did good. You made me doc.
Yeah, I think that elevated things.
When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. I thought that was a great design by you, Bella. And then this month's thumbnail is a surprise, so I'm not going to spoil it for people, but it is going to be one of the movies we talk about today. And I'm not going to say which one, but our director spotlight is on the wonderful, brilliant writer and director. And I think he might be a better writer than director, and that's saying something because he's got 2 Best Pictures under his notch, 2 films that won Best Picture under his belt, and quite a few more that were nominated. Billy Wilder. One of the coolest things about this is going to be each one of us was given 3 Billy Wilder flicks. What we're going to do is each of us is going to break it down, give some thoughts on if we've seen it, what we think about it, and what we recommend it to the audience at large. So as usual, we're going to start with you, Travis, and you give us one of the films that you saw. Tell us a little bit about it, break it down how you think about it, and we'll let you know if we've seen it and what we think. Travis, the room is yours, my friend.
Okay, so the earliest film on my list to discuss is Ace in the Hole from 1953.
Oh, dear God.
1951, sorry. Directed by Billy Wilder, of course, and starring Kirk Douglas, Jan Sterling, a bunch of character actors. And it's about Kirk Douglas's character is a newspaper man from New York, and he kind of gets like in trouble with various people for, I guess, his conduct. He ends up in Albuquerque. He goes to this newspaper office to get a job, and so once he kind of claims his territory there, he gets assigned to report on this rattlesnake hunt, and he goes up there with a young reporter, and he discovers that there is a man trapped in like a cave, like a cave-in. Turns the story into like the sensationalistic kind of media circus, and he kind of manipulates everyone, and he basically takes advantage of everyone. And I don't know how far you want me to get into the plots of these movies.
That's perfect, man. You gave us a synopsis. Let me ask you a question though. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I've seen it, multiple times, and I own the Criterion Blu-ray.
My dude, I've never seen this movie, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it sounds interesting. I wanted to touch on something you mentioned there about the movie. Newspapermen seem to be a
So journalist.
trope, and newspapermen specifically seem to be a trope in early like cinema because you have
Also the time period.
yeah, in
Yeah.
the time period too. So you have this. It happened one night. Clark Gable plays a newspaper man in His Girl Friday. The two main characters are both newspaper men. What do you think is it about the journalist in the 50s, 40s, and 30s that makes him so, I guess, want to be on, as a main character in a movie? Why are they so interesting?
Well, Billy Wilder had experience as a journalist
Well, that
before he
tells me-
started.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Before he started writing for movies.
This is why we brought you
And-
here, Travis.
Well, you made the observation, I think, either earlier
Yeah.
that you said Billy Wilder's a better writer than a director, right?
Yeah, exactly. Would
Yeah.
you agree with me on that, Travis? I think he might be a better writer than director.
I would maybe agree with that. Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say, it's definitely a half and half effort because as much of a writer, fantastic writer as he is,
Yes.
it takes a special kind of person to be able to take these wild performances. But whether you have Marilyn Monroe or you have Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, or in this case Kirk Douglas,
He's really
and his character, which I just saw Ace in the Hole, so I could also.
You did.
I did.
Did you like it?
I had mixed feelings on it, actually.
Okay.
So I have a bit of a different perspective on it because I thought it was really interesting. And now having the context that Billy Wilder was also a journalist in that time period makes a lot of sense because that movie as a whole, the message is of the kind of white savior complex, but at the same time, him fronting that white savior complex in order to exploit this real tragedy that is going on. And of course, there's tons of real life examples of this in real life.
And this
And
is a
Kirk
comedy?
Douglas- This is not a comedy.
Okay.
It is, how would you put it?
Travis, how would you put this? What kind of movie is it?
It's definitely a drama with some sardonic black humor.
Sardonic. I haven't heard that word in forever.
Is that the right word, you think?
I
Sardonic?
think so because Kirk Douglas's character is so interesting, and it's definitely like the Oscar driving performance with Kirk
The
Douglas.
Kirk Douglas, I am Spartacus moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like literally in like one of the earlier scenes
Yeah.
when he barges his way into the office of
Okay.
the news outlet. He's literally drinking as soon as he gets there and monologuing to every single person who works there.
So there's another theme, alcoholism, that we're going to be touching on
Oh,
closely
Which is
with some
also
of his other films.
a fascinating motif on like that reappears in Wilder's works.
Alcoholism is
Juicy.
that's something that I've seen in several movies, and actually a movie you're going to talk about has it, and a movie I'm going to be talking about also does feature some alcoholism as well.
Which is fascinating, especially,
Right.
especially talking about the time period that this all takes in.
Yeah.
The prevalence that reporters, the prevalence and the power that media and reporters have over the public, which is also featured in this film heavily, and basically how a tragic thing is turned very sensationalist, as Travis was saying, that whole thing.
I like it.
And alcoholism, which is impressive for Wilder to be covering. Especially during a time where, if you even refer to something as late as Mad Men, how much they covered alcoholism in there. Everyone drinks in that period.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh, yeah.
smokes.
Oh yeah.
So it's fascinating to see a director of that caliber be like, hey, this is alcoholism. This is a problem.
I like that.
Fascinating.
I like that. Travis, where can people watch this movie, and would you recommend it?
It should. I think it's available on, all the usual streaming
Is it?
places like Amazon. It should be.
Well, now I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Ace in the hole.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I didn't know that. That's okay. So also, Travis, are you Southern?
Well, I'm from North Carolina, so
That's
yeah.
what I knew. I
Carolina.
noticed an accent, my friend. No problem. I just want to make sure I heard that accent right. I heard you
Yeah.
speak, and I'm like, this boy Southern for sure. That's pretty cool, man. I like it. I like that pick too. That's a good one. I'm glad you chose that one because it's not one that I've seen. So now I'm gonna fill in that gap in my filmography. So thank you for that one. Now,
Yeah, and everyone should see it.
okay, there you go. See, everybody should check it. I'll check. I'm gonna check it out.
I'll check it
It's
out.
available. I just want to be able to find it. Now, as usual, we're gonna go to our first guest here, Miss Gina.
Hello.
Which one of your 3
Hello.
picks do you want to talk about first?
So should I go with the worst? Should I go with the best?
Go with the worst one first.
Go with-
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Love in the Afternoon.
Didn't like it.
Which I have not seen that one.
I haven't seen it either.
You haven't seen Love in the Afternoon?
No.
It's Audrey Hepburn movie
love
as
Audrey.
well.
We love
so-
Audrey, and we're gonna talk about a better Audrey Hepburn movie in a few minutes here.
It's not always make a hit.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking because for me, this genre is very new to me. The genre meaning back in time, 50s, 60s,
Way back in there. Yeah.
back there movies where I'm just so used to now. So kind of getting into the mindset was a little hard for me, but Love in the Afternoon was the one that was the hardest to go through because I just felt that I saw the trope, the whole like young woman, old man trope
Oh.
gives me the willies. And
So you haven't seen a Woody Allen movie in the last 40 years?
No, I haven't seen Woody Allen in a while. But either way, the whole Lolita thing pisses me off.
Speaking of that,
So I feel gross watching the movie.
gotcha.
And then I also didn't feel any chemistry between Audrey Hepburn and Gary Cooper.
This is sounding very familiar.
I felt like here's this old crusty man having old crusty relations with women, and then Audrey's like, and then he takes advantage of it, and I'm like, this is stupid. You know what I mean? So like, I don't mean to be that critical, but and very
right.
very uneloquent about it.
Well, it's we in a sense you can't help but come from that contemporary context,
Right,
because
right.
I used to watch older films all the time, but I kind of
Same.
haven't been able to go back to that. So coming back into that,
I'll tell you what's really funny is most of the time when I look at Wilder in general, he's pretty progressive.
Uh-huh.
But
extremely
this is
progressive
not
at the time.
sounding. This is sounding very transgressive from because it came out in '57.
Yeah.
I need you to understand how fucking old Gary Cooper is. This movie came out in 1957. He was in Wings, which won the very first Best Picture, which came out in 1929. That's how fucking old Gary
That's
Cooper
what
is.
Yeah. He was
It was a silent film.
Oh my god.
Wings was a silent film.
At least good for Gary Cooper for making that transition, I guess.
right.
Well, and the only reason he was able to do it is because he was really handsome back in the day.
Right.
He was also in a lot of westerns as
So
well.
a powerful white man.
Yeah.
He was able to transcend through that. Good for him.
But guess who didn't? The best performance in Wings is by Clara Bow, who never got a job once the talkie started, and that's the tragedy of it. And Clara Bow is absolutely a beautiful woman.
It's surprising how much you hear of like silent actors being impacted. Actually,
But
I'm not gonna speak on
that goes into the other movie
Yeah,
I
I'm
watched. So we
yet.
can go there.
We're not going to touch on that yet because we're going to get to that.
I want to say, a couple positive things about Love in the Afternoon. I felt that the father was really well played. He had really good like mannerisms to fit the role. I couldn't get over the fact that the father had.
Well, that was Maurice Chevalier, right?
Yeah.
He's too charming.
He had a good charm to him, and I really like how he set the foundation at the beginning of the movie. But like, I couldn't get over the fact that he has a French accent, Audrey has an English accent, Gary Cooper has an American accent, and they're all in France. And then she's, I don't know if she's a child. She seems like a child. Maybe she's in her 20s.
A woman child.
She's a woman child.
She's a woman child.
Which is a very common
Trope.
character archetype.
Right.
Back in the day. Like if you look at Born Yesterday, that's the perfect example.
Which we're going to get into Born Yesterday because that's another example of something that we're going to talk about with her, one of the other movies that she saw because of the year that it came out.
So yeah, that was my version of that one. It wasn't the fun one to watch. It was just kind of generic to me.
Yeah, which
a
is
little bit.
I speaking on that, there were a couple Billy Wilder movies that were like that, and I was wondering if there was any sort of studio interference going on, or because he was so like knees deep into Hollywood that that was just kind of something that just happened. Oh, we're gonna have you like direct the script,
right?
Kind of thing. So I'm wondering what.
That might have been the one that where you know how a lot of the studio system was one for you, one for me.
Yes.
That might have been the one for them.
Which it still is.
Travis, have you seen this movie?
Yes.
What do you think?
It's fine. It's not one of my favorites.
There we go. So you would agree then that when we say that it's fine. That's a good
If
summation.
flat.
It's flat.
No impact.
It's really funny that Maurice Chevalier would be in something that falls so flat. Because if you've ever seen Maurice Chevalier, he is this lively, belly French man, and he
Yes.
turns like this.
And he was
In fact, the character of Lumiere is based on Maurice Chevalier. If you cannot tell, be our guest.
You gotta speak in that accent for the rest of the episode.
No,
That's pretty good though.
that was pretty good, huh?
I like that.
Thank you.
You know, I mentioned him as the one that stood out.
He stood out.
compared to the other big names.
The really funny thing is, if you can overshadow Audrey Hepburn, it takes an effort because she is so talented, so brilliant in everything that she does. And I get the luxury of talking about another Wilder movie that has her in it, and I'm going to talk about it here in a little
It's
bit.
very strange hearing that movie. And
That was just the impression, though. And this coming from someone who doesn't have a very big background in it, and so that one was the last one that I saw. So I had already watched a couple other ones that kind of helped me get into it. So
Right.
I had something to compare it to.
I like that. I like what you went with there, and I think that's really interesting. What you got?
And
for
I
me?
just quickly wanted to say that originally Wilder wanted Cary Grant for the Gary Cooper role, and I think he would have been better.
Oh, with as far as I go, way
Boatloads more charisma. Boatloads more charisma. Yeah. You want to talk about excellent? One of my favorite actors. That's why I love his girl Friday so much. Is that performance? He's such a dick in that movie. Get out. I mean, it's a meme now. Get out. I love Gary. Gary Cooper can't hold a candle to Cary Grant. It's just not even a contest.
It has that
Cary Grant.
Well, we say charisma, but within the charisma, there's, obviously he's a handsome man, but he's got a way with.
There's a masculine energy to
There's
it.
a masculine, like dancer, like almost Mads Mikkelsen-esque energy. To
That's
it.
exactly what it is.
Yeah, and
That's
he-
Mikkelsen-esque.
he
That is
can
exactly what
carry
it is.
a joke.
Yes.
He could carry. If you look, what was that Catherine Hepburn movie?
You're talking about the
Lady
Philadelphia
Baby.
story.
Because in the wrong same one of the
They're
things.
both. They're both good examples.
What is that called again?
You're talking. We're
Kind of
bringing
comedy.
up baby. That's screwball.
Screwball comedy.
The whole scene where she rips her dress and he's trying to hide the fact that she ripped her dress.
Yeah.
That's him carrying that joke. Katharine Hepburn's not supposed to be in it, so she plays it off so well. And I think that you're right. I think that, and I think you'd agree with me here, Travis, that he would have been able to carry that film with a little bit more gusto.
And chemistry.
And he probably could have gone head to head with Chevalier.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good.
Definitely because of, Grant and Hepburn were in Charade together, and they have a lot of chemistry in
That's
that.
a good movie
A
too.
fantastic film.
That's a good pull there, Travis. I mean, and Charade's a much better movie than this one if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Oh my God.
Where can people watch this, and would you recommend it?
I actually had to rent it off of iTunes.
It was like
and
$3?
so It was like it was $2.99. So yeah.
$3.
So yeah, it was
Fine.
fine for
Was
what
it
it
worth
is.
your $3?
You know what? I'm gonna say yes because I learned a lot
Okay.
and I got to see something different compared to what I was seeing before.
And that's
That's a
actually
good
why
outlook.
I loved having you on this one, because I knew you hadn't seen any of the movies we gave you.
Yeah.
I knew you hadn't seen
Yeah.
any of
So
them.
That's what made it really, really cool for me. I loved it.
And I knew that, and that's why I wanted to have the juxtapose you with Travis, is that Travis has already seen all three of the movies he picked, and he picked obscure ones, and that's why I was like, yes, watch it. Yes, I can pick the three I wanted to.
Mhm.
So that's a great pick. Shade, let's get to your
Honestly,
first one.
okay, so I'm gonna veto that. I think you should talk about your next pick yet because it's
Okay.
related to Genius.
Okay.
Gina's.
So you know what? I will go next.
I'm
I
a
will go
genius,
next
yeah,
then. That's
genius.
fair.
Yeah.
Gina the Genius.
I have added an extra letter to that.
Whole syllable. Whole syllable. Yeah, you know what? I'll talk about my first movie. Of the three that I watched, and I'm not going to tell you the other two because we'll get to them. My least favorite was, ironically, the romantic comedy.
Mhm.
Which... one of them. And it was Sabrina, which has gotten remade and is not even as good as the original.
I know.
And this one stars William Holden, who was actually in Born Yesterday also. Humphrey Bogart and Audrey Hepburn. And the funny thing is, William Holden's a great actor. Bogey's notoriously a good actor, even though some people don't like it. But Audrey Hepburn steals the whole movie. She's so much better than everybody else in this movie. The dialogue is there, and it moves at a speed that Bogey's used to. Because when you see a Bogey film, he always has this like super fast delivery, this really low timber, and he starts talking about all the gin joints and all the places and all the world.
His face drooping in the
Yeah.
sunlight.
Because he's like 900 years old. Yes. This is a really good example though of Wilder as a writer being better than him as a director for me. because I don't think he directs it that well. I don't think it's that well of a directed film, comparable to the other stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Huh.
But it's so much better written than the movie is directed. And I know that sounds weird, but it's so good they remade that movie. They don't remake a lot of Billy Wilder's movies because the scripts are so good and he directs them. But they tried to make a better directed movie and they just couldn't do it.
I didn't I didn't even go back.
Yeah, this one's from 1954. One of the things that you'll notice about Wilder is he's really good at handling these unwieldy but simple premises. All the premises of all these movies is pretty cut and dry. This is about a guy who is a playboy who's interested in the daughter of the chauffeur, but his older brother, played by Bogart, is a better match for him. For Audrey Hepburn's character Sabrina. It's funny because there also seems to be a scene in every one of the of Wilder's movies that ends up becoming iconic. All three of the movies that I picked that I got for this month's podcast have an iconic scene in them. And there's a movie we're not even going to be talking about that has one of the most iconic movie scenes of all time, and I'll get to that later too. In this one, for me, it's the scene between Bogart's character Linus and Sabrina, where they're driving, and he starts to realize. The realization comes over him that this girl is perfect for him, that she's the one. That's a really iconic scene for me. And if you watch the movie, when Harrison Ford tries to do the same thing, it doesn't work as well. Even though we all know Harrison Ford very charismatic, much more charismatic than Bogey, but it just doesn't work because it's not Wilder there directing it.
Right.
And I like the movie, and I can definitely recommend it. And you are going to have to rent it. I did not do either of those things. I will not tell you how. I will not tell you how I acquired this film. But I love it, and it's a good movie, just not a great one.
Right.
You've seen Sabrina. Can we get some thoughts? You
I have
seen
not seen Sabrina.
No chemistry.
No, that's the
I've had no
problem.
chemistry. Okay, so on that, the whole dynamic of there's this whole love triangle between these two brothers and Audrey Hepburn. And me trying my best to always fall into every movie, give every movie and dynamic a chance. I just could not stay with it, but I finished it, and at the end, I just felt honestly, I didn't like it. Period, because I felt myself very unsatisfied by where Audrey Hepburn's character ends up. I'm like, it was like kind of like this is a mild kind of spoiler for Pretty in Pink, but I was just like, why does she have to end up there?
Yeah.
Why does she have to end up there? I found no chemistry. Humphrey Bogart, because this film is also in color, you could see his his liver spots.
His oldness, yeah.
Him with beautiful glowing porcelain.
Audrey Hepburn, one of the most beautiful women to ever grace the screen.
And then
Bogey.
Juxtaposed against William Holden, who is strikingly handsome.
Yeah,
William Holden is really.
Bill Holden's very handsome.
Yeah, he is.
I think ultimately what the story was trying to achieve was a romantic twist.
Yeah,
there's just the chemistry didn't fit for me. And of the time,
that's because the writing is better than the performances.
Yep.
That's what it is.
But that's a sad thing too, because I love Audrey. I believe Humphrey Bogart can act.
I mean, you've seen Casablanca.
I've
He's
seen
great.
Casablanca, like
Maltese Falcon. He's great.
Yeah, like film school, hammered Casablanca into your brain. If nothing else.
It's good script.
Good script. But yeah, no, it just didn't strike me.
I like it. I like your thoughts on that, Travis. What you got for me on Sabrina?
I like it a fair amount, but I would say it's mid-tier Wilder.
I like that. I like that because I would agree with you completely. Fair. I would agree with you completely. I think it's mid-tier, and of the three films that I saw, it was the not as good one. But it does harken back to a lot of what she was talking about with your movie.
But no chemistry.
And Hepburn steals the show.
Yep.
But she didn't have the luxury of Chevalier in this movie. She's working against Bill Holden, who's really good in there. And he has better chemistry with Bill Holden, but fuck me.
So romantic. I guess she'll end up with this crusty ass Humphrey.
This movie came out in 1954. I'm just going to spoil it for you people. She ends up with the crusty old man.
The crusty man covered in cigarette smoke.
And the funny thing is, you can tell he smells like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Through the teeth.
Probably like hard, like scotch.
Gin. That man smells like straight up gin.
I could smell him through the screen.
Gin. Girl, I'm telling you, like the good aged gin too. No, the movie's okay, and this is coming from me, the actual king of the romantic comedy.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
and I didn't like it that much. I just think it's not that great.
There's
There's much better romances in his filmography, and we're going to touch on at least two of them today. So that's going to be amazing.
Mhm.
But Shay, let's get to your first movie.
Okay. So, coincidentally, me and Travis both picked Ace in the Hole, which is my fault because I should have said something. So I'm gonna move on to something else. Because I already said my thoughts on Ace in the Hole, but maybe I'll sum them up in, like, to me it felt like Hunter S. Thompson meets a little bit of Nightmare Alley.
It is very Nightmare Alley.
A little bit lit and framed a little bit like Night of the Hunter, because Kirk Douglas is absolutely the anti-hero.
What you guys need to understand is Night of the Hunter is one of my favorite films. It's one of the most beautifully shot black and white films of the 50s as well.
If not.
And god damn it, Robert Meacham is, if he's not the scariest man alive.
Like mention it at least like once every.
That's because it's incredible. And without that, we have no De Niro performance in Cape Fear. Because he's basically trying to do Robert Meacham in that.
Yes.
It's, God, I fucking
I'm
love
learning
Night of the
so
Hunter.
much.
Night of the Hunter is so beautiful.
You know, Robert Mitchum or like noir, because
It's
Noir?
neo-noir though. It's
I'm
not
okay with
Neo-
noir.
it's not full noir, because the most noirs don't take the perspective of, you know, who the killer is.
right.
Mhm.
Well, also noir is about like the anti-hero or like the hero that's not
The
supposed to be a
gumshoe.
hero.
Usually the hero's the detective, and he's not really a hero. He's a drunken piece of shit.
Yeah.
Night of the Hunter, I would describe more as a expressionist dramatic horror.
That's exactly what it is.
Ooh.
It's expression. It's German
Listen,
expressionism under the guise of a murder mystery, and it's directed by an actor.
And yes, Charles
Lawton, who won an Oscar for playing King Henry VIII.
and never directed another movie.
Never directed another movie again.
Because Night of
He
the
was
Hunter
actually married. His wife is actually the Bride of Frankenstein, Elsa Lancaster. Charles Lawton.
Learning so
Like,
much.
Yeah.
Who's also in Billy Wilder's Witness for the Prosecution.
This motherfucker is so good.
We gonna talk about that.
We're
one
gonna get
next.
to that, Travis. This is why you're here, my guy, because you just have that shit ready to go. I appreciate you just pulling that out of space. We appreciate you, man, for that one. That was good stuff. By the way, good timing, by the way. Also, never interrupt me again. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Never interrupt me again.
Podcast we tangent after this.
Yes.
Love it.
But it's
all
that's
connected.
a good pull for Ace in the Hole, because now I definitely want to see it.
Oh my god, the cave lighting. There
Much
it
more interested in seeing that movie now that you just mentioned that you guys have talked about it. 'Cause
is.
I had no idea. I had no interest in seeing that movie at all.
Just mentioned
Even-
the
even-
Hunter, and then we'll like
goes on.
okay.
Once
It's
you
like
mentioned
our like shared favorite movie
Yeah.
of all time.
once you mentioned that, we're good.
It's
You're-
done.
in
Done.
fact, you're gonna replace Ace in the Hole with that.
Yes. Okay. Oh, right now. Okay.
Do it.
Oh, I have the honor.
Because it's gonna. I have some things that I
Okay.
want to say about it.
Okay. So this
Her
is
first
actually,
pick is gonna be probably his best film, one of his most
actually,
well known.
Okay. I would say this is his best film, at least out of the ones that I have rounded up right now and that I'm allowed to talk about. I'm so honored to talk about this one because it is, out of his entire filmography, I do have like a good handful of favorites, but this is my absolute favorite of all time because it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, it gets even better every time you watch
still
it. And that's
so funny.
rare. Starring Marilyn Monroe.
Jack Lemmon,
Jack
who we're gonna talk
Lemmon,
about later.
Was in like at least 3 of Billy Wilder's
And
movies.
my favorite of his is not even this one, and we're going to talk about that later too. I love Jack Lemmon. I fucking love Jack Lemmon.
Oh, such great comedic timing. And then I forget the names of the other actors.
Yeah, it's fine.
Get the important one.
Marilyn
Yeah.
Monroe's in this, and that connects perfectly to my next pick anyway, which we'll get to later.
Perfect.
Tony Curtis is also in the movie.
Tony Curtis. So enough hype. It's something like
Jamie Lee
of
Curtis'
course.
dad, by the way.
Oh, dang. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
where she gets her name. Her
Connections.
mom is
Oh.
Janet Leigh, and her dad's Tony Curtis.
That's iconic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
she just
She's
took.
Hollywood royalty.
She
People don't realize
is
it.
Hollywood
And
royalty.
she's amazing. So we love her. Everything
We
everywhere.
do stand everything everywhere all at once.
We'll have to have a whole episode cry session. To that.
Yes, go ahead.
So Some Like It Hot. In my opinion,
God, Some Like It Hot is so good.
not really Billy Wilder's. Like, I'll give it the graces in consideration towards his other movies because I also do love his other movies. But one of the greatest comedies ever made of all time. And Marilyn Monroe. I almost said Manson. Marilyn Monroe's best performance, in my opinion. How do I even, because I'm unprepared for this. I've seen this movie several times, and it gets better every single time I see it.
That's because it's funny every single time.
Every single scene has something to offer. You laugh like you're laughing every 5 minutes. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. You get these beautiful musical performances from everybody, but especially Monroe, of course. And
she's so good in that movie.
This is like my favorite performance of hers. And to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of her movies.
I have.
But this is really the only movie that matters.
Okay, good to know that.
I mean, her sex appeal is always there. That was something that was, of course, like.
And it's her second time working with Wilder.
Yeah. Oh, this is her second time.
Because her first time is one I'm going to talk about.
Which I've also seen that one, but this one, for me, tops all of it because there's just such the heart and such the sweetness behind it, and it you know, in being the time period, it has that potential of like kind of crossing that line into like creepiness, but it never does.
It never does.
Dudes trying to get away from the mob, so they dress up as women and join this all-female band.
And it totally works.
And it totally works. And they actually assimilate into that community. But there's kind of this weird like romance. They're like one of them is trying to set up with Marilyn.
Right.
But then to also
Tony Curtis's character really wants to get with Marilyn.
Yeah, like,
who doesn't?
Exactly.
To be fair, we're going to talk about that in a minute because I have some thoughts on Marilyn.
Her absolutely okay. So between all of the three main characters, and you know, Marilyn, of course, is the shining star, and we all just want to see her. But the chemistry between all of the characters and the actors bring to the screen is so magical and so iconic. And even the main, like the side characters, which I know you're got the quotes to pull out right now.
I'm about to bust those out in a minute here.
But the most iconic scenes, iconic performances, iconic like costume design, these scenes. I remember all of these scenes, and I've been watching this movie since I was a kid with my family. And
it's just a wonderful film.
I've seen this one the most times, and it doesn't get old at all. Me and Landon have watched it together, and it still holds up, and we're like, oh, it's all time. Yeah, it's his favorite.
Men in Drag.
It's still so good.
Men in Drag.
It's still so good. And the thing is, it's Men in Drag without making fun of the fact that they're in drag.
Yeah. Okay. And in such the early part of the century.
White chicks.
Exactly.
Oh, white chicks.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. There's another actress. There's actually another actress who's working with Wilder for the first time and worked with him again on another movie, and that's Joan Shawley. She's here in this movie, and she's in another movie that she did a few years ago. Actually, it's two movies in a row because this came out in '59. He worked with Joan Shawley worked with him again in 1960 on another.
What part did she?
Was
she the leader?
In this one, she played. I don't know. By the way, that was the Super Mario music when they touched the flag.
Oh, my mind went to Inspector Gadget. Like
I think it was Woodpecker was the first one you did.
Nope. That was not it at all. I don't know what you're talking about at all.
This is definitely one of those.
She played Sweet Sue.
Sweet Sue? Who was that? One of the girls? Oh, one of the band members.
She's a small part in this, and she has a small part in another movie, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Gotcha.
But of course, the most iconic scene for me in this movie is the very last scene of the movie, in which Joey Brown's Osgood is driving them
a yacht millionaire
speedboat, and Jack Lemmon finally reveals himself as a man, and he basically goes into saying, well, as a woman, I'm not the one for you. That's okay. Well, we're gonna get married. I can't get married. I'm a terrible past. That's okay. I don't mind. And giving him all these reasons that they can't be together.
Yeah. Trying to find it out.
And then he says, well, I'm a man. He says, well, nobody's perfect.
and
then it goes to the end, and then the movie's ended. And that's all you need. It's one of the best scenes, best endings to a movie. It's one of my favorite endings to any movie. I fucking love doing it because it's just he doesn't care, and he's got this smile on this goofy smile on his face the whole time. Like,
oh, I'm in trouble.
Because he literally rips the wig off, looks right at him, and says, "Well, I'm a man." And he says, well, "Nobody's perfect."
That makes me so happy.
And he's so mad that he just keeps getting beat every single time he tries to like say something.
He knew the whole time. Yeah. You're like, oh my.
Gina, I know you haven't seen this movie.
I know I haven't seen any of these movies, and I may have.
You need to.
I'm the one who's going to constantly just be like in the background.
Travis, what are your thoughts on Some Like It Hot, which is just a fantastic film?
It's definitely one of my favorites. everybody's so good, and um, like it's a very funny movie. But the thing that sticks with me is the leader of the all-girl band, her assistant. When she's always yelling at him, and she yells, "Mr. Beanstalk." It's always fun.
God, that's good stuff. I like that. That was
Every
a
single scene, dude. Every single scene is hilarious. There's always something going on. The
I'm gonna go
pace
watch it
is
now.
almost breakneck.
and the funny
honestly.
thing is, it didn't have to be in black and white, but it is.
they
It totally just works,
made that consecutive
Mm,
decision.
mhm.
and it worked out both times. By the way, because his
I've
50,
never seen the color.
his 59 movie is in black and white, and the movie he did in 1960 is also in black and white. And we're gonna get to that movie soon. But black and white seems to be the better choice.
That's what they decided
But the
on.
funny thing is, I've seen probably his best colored film, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mhm.
But that's a great pick. I don't know, something like it's just so good. I could
The
talk about it all day.
best.
It's so good.
The best.
Travis, what was your second pick, brother?
My second pick is 123 from 1961.
I haven't seen this. This is the film
Me
after
neither.
one of my favorites, so
Looking it
hit us,
up.
hit us with it.
All right, it stars James Cagney
We're on a good roll
in
already.
a great performance that they joke that he didn't act in another movie for 20 years because he was worn out from this movie.
Wow. Okay.
That's really funny.
Yeah, the next movie he was in was Ragtime in 1981.
Good God.
So, yeah, he, the whole movie is like, it's just him. Well, a lot of it is him dictating to other people. I mean, like, go get this so and so. Next, get this so and so. Then go down to so and so. It's like a mile per minute performance. And he's a Coca-Cola executive in Germany. He is responsible for taking care of the boss's daughter. She ends up falling in love with this kind of radical communist, and complications ensue, and it really is
And so you're
one
saying
of
she's falling in love with a communist in 1961
That sounds
after
very
the House Un-American ruined like 9,000 people's lives.
the blacklist.
That's really interesting.
yeah, it's like, of course he knows that his boss isn't going to like that, and so they have to try to pass the guy off as a capitalist. And it really is, I think it's Wilder's funniest.
Really?
It's
That's
just,
really something I would
yeah.
definitely enjoy.
it's
I get vibes. I get like the producer vibes. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
yeah, I think so.
Because
He's
the producers has Nazis,
Mm.
unironically in it, and this sounds like it's being satirical about the whole Red Scare thing. Would you say that that's pretty on the nose there, Travis?
yeah, it's nothing can prepare you for seeing it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's just like it goes so broad, but never too far that it's annoying.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
So it's
Wow.
satirical, but it holds all of its cards close to its chest. Then.
Right.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So where did you see this thing, and would you recommend it?
Well, it was hard to see for a while, and then it was released on Blu-ray by Kino.
Okay, Kino Lorber. If you guys don't know, they do a lot of
Yeah.
good. They do a lot of really good digital remasters. They refuse to send us any of them, sons of bitches. Okay, so you saw it. Did you have the Blu-ray? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so should we check this out?
Yeah, you definitely should.
Okay.
It has to be seen to be the
This sounds fascinating.
I'm liking the sound of this, man. I might have to check this one out.
I don't know a single movie that came out of that time, not to the top, like at the top of my memory or anything,
Yeah.
having to do anything with that sort of subject matter.
That's because it was taboo and they didn't want to touch
But
it.
also,
yeah.
Billy Wilder's pretty shameless. To
He
be
doesn't give a
honest.
fuck.
Oh, really?
He
As
doesn't
a
give a fuck.
director, yeah.
He
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care.
No, it's only gonna get darker from here.
We're about
okay
to
with
we're
that.
about to touch on a few things here
Mhm.
with the 2 movies I got left. Trust me. Good pick. I like it. I'm gonna check that one out because I want to see it. Gina, what do you got for your second?
I think the second one that I really actually the other two I really enjoyed. I don't know which one I want to go first. Let's go with I'm gonna go with Witness for the Prosecution.
Because I haven't seen this one.
I have not seen.
Miss Dietrich.
Dietrich? Yes.
Dietrich.
Marlene Dietrich.
Marlene, yes.
Love her.
I thoroughly enjoyed her. I loved her stoicness. She did get down to her very German roots.
Yeah, well, she's also in Nanachka where she's a complete bitch and it totally works.
And she has that bitch face that is really so good. And exactly like just like she looks at you. She looks at you and she can cut you. And that's it.
She will cut you. She thinks
yeah, and like I really enjoyed it because she was so spicy compared to the like other cast members. I also noticed that like yes, the casts that we're talking about, at least the three that I had, always have a female that has a spicy side to them, and she was, I think, she was the second spiciest compared to the first one.
The funny thing is, we're not going to talk about Ball of Fire, but and I'll touch on Ball of Fire later. But yeah, that's pretty much pretty much Wilder's thing.
Yeah.
Is spicy ladies.
Yes, and like I was like, she seemed to be on par with William Holden's acting abilities. They seemed to have a really good chemistry. It was far better than Audrey Hepburn and what's his face, Cooper, right?
Yeah, Gary Cooper.
Yeah, and so like it just was huge difference because I watched Witness for the Prosecution first and Love in the Afternoon last, and it was day and night. And you know what's weird is that it seemed that Love in the Afternoon seemed to have a bigger budget. That's just the way I didn't know.
Because it came out later,
right? And it still didn't do a better job than Witness for the Prosecution, because in Witness for the Prosecution you're in settings that are dark. Yeah. Right. You have dark setting. Her little like backstage area at that bar that she performed at was dark. You have the courtroom that's dark, and like it doesn't seem like there was a lot of camera movement. It was just very stationary, but it worked.
By the way, guess how accidentally good are we at our jobs, guys?
What?
Do you know who plays Sir Wilfred Roberts in that movie?
No.
Mr. Charles Lott.
You're kidding.
I'm not.
You're joking.
I'm not.
Oh my God.
Charles Lawton, the director, just talked about
Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter.
Right.
His only direct debut film.
Yes, and
his
Charles
debut
Lawton
was also
is in this movie.
Interesting. See, I learned more.
Sir Wilfred Robards.
Wilfred. Which one is that one?
That's fascinating.
He's in the movie.
Oh, he's the lawyer. He's the main lawyer who's the. Oh my God. Okay, so the main lawyer of the movie.
Charles Lawton.
Yes, what a grouch! Like he plays such a good grouch.
You have just perfectly described Charles Lawton.
Like the way his nurse would be like, "You need to take your pills," and he's like, "I'm gonna like smack the shit out of you." Like, and I'm like, "Wow, you really talking to her like that? She don't give a shit."
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
He was like holding a cigar and puffing it in her face, and I'm like, the audacity of this man's character.
So Charles Lawton is a fantastic actor, and I don't know if you guys are Looney Tunes fans. You guys watch the Looney Tunes? So have you ever seen in Looney Tunes when Bugs Bunny's on the pirate ship? Yeah. And there's the big lip guy, and he goes, "Mr. Christian."
It's a very specific episode. I used to watch these when I was
It's based on Mutiny on the Bounty.
Oh, really?
Captain Bligh, played by Charles Lawton.
Wow.
Finally, Bugs Bunny is playing a character in that scenario.
That's played by
Clark Gable. Bugs Bunny's whole personality is based off Clark Gable.
Oh.
In It Happened One Night.
Oh.
Why do you think you choose carrots like that?
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Everything else.
Boom.
Everything's connected.
Gotcha. Sometimes I bring the heat, guys. Sometimes I bring the heat. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Oh,
not bad, huh?
Not bad. Not bad.
So, and by the way, the Miss Plimsley, this young lady here, Elsa Lancaster, Charles Lawton's wife.
Oh, really? So it's a beautiful family affair.
Also known as the Bride of Frankenstein.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
She's also in an I Love Lucy episode too.
Which one?
Gotcha.
The one where her car breaks down and the one lady with the racing hat helps them and offers them a watercress sandwich, and she thinks that she's a murderer.
Oh my gosh.
That's Elsa Lancaster.
That makes sense. Because she could be, but
She could be. Yeah, she could
Who
probably
cares?
kill you.
Who cares? She's brilliant.
But that's a great choice. I haven't seen this movie, but now I want to.
No, it's really almost psychological.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's got that psychological feel to it. It's not a comedy. There is some twist at the end. Honestly, this movie gave me a little bit of a whiplash at the end
Gotcha.
because it gives you twist and then twist and then twist, and it's all within like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Because it's based on the writings of Agatha Christie.
Is she a twister?
She's a twister. You ever seen Murder on the Orient Express?
Oh, there you go.
Go.
Well, then, because I was like, okay, the movie has a specific tone and a pace the whole time. You get to the end, the climax happens, and then it's like twist, 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 and I'm like, oh my god, what just happened?
By the way, you also picked another movie that got remade into a TV
Really?
movie. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
it got remade into a TV movie in 1982.
Starring anyone?
Beau Bridges, actually. Deborah Kerr, Diana Rigg, Donald Pleasance from the Halloween franchise. Yeah, so it's got a great cast. Very good cast.
So I would recommend this, honestly.
Yeah.
I would recommend it.
How did you watch it?
I watched it on Pluto TV.
Good choice. Choice. Pluto's
So,
free, guys.
Yep, I just went ahead and saw it on Pluto
So
TV.
I'm gonna do the whole thing now. Pluto TV, if you guys want to sponsor us, that'd be really great.
Pluto TV.
We recommend it. We recommend that everybody check out Pluto TV if you guys want to watch on-demand
really good.
TV for free. Many different
Me
channels.
gusta mucho. I liked it.
Yeah. Glad to see she liked it. Now, you want me to go next? Because
I
We're
would
going-
actually like to go next on this one.
Proceed.
Because following the whole train of spicy ladies, this particular film features a very spicy lady, and a very spicy lady character, if not one of the most like notorious spicy lady characters of all time. And so this film is called Double Indemnity, and
the spiciest of ladies.
the spiciest of ladies, and one of the most notorious noir films.
It's great.
In my opinion, of all time.
Yeah.
So what it is basically how do I describe this?
That's great. That's a great question.
It's complicated.
It's one of his early films. It came out 44.
Wow.
Here, okay. So
It's the first time he worked with Fred McMurray, who he works with again.
Yes.
And I'll get to that later.
Fred McMurray is
So,
the bomb, but really it's this really strange, very strange relationship between these two characters who end up striking up a relationship in order to profit off of this woman's husband, basically. And they're trying to, they're trying to incite a murder,
yeah, that's pretty much it. They're trying to cause someone to get murdered.
but also profit off of this murder.
Correct.
So that's why
As usual. As you do.
usual. And Fred McMurray, I think he's an insurance worker, right?
That's correct.
That's correct. So, what's the actress's name?
Barbara Stanwyck,
Barbara
who's
Stanwyck.
in Ball of Fire that we can't talk about because that's a Howard Hawks film,
Correct.
does what she usually does and is manipulating men, as she should.
As she should, but will it work out or will it not? Is she really in
That's
love
the
with Fred
best part.
McMurray or is she not?
Is she not?
And it's oh my god. So this
I
feel like this Billy Wilder film in particular maps out a lot of relationships and a lot of drama that you see in his later works.
Yep.
But this is really where he brings everything out, other than some other works that we're going to be talking about in a second here. But Double Indemnity is probably one of his more intense works because while Billy Wilder, as we like to say, is a wild card kind of director, he can cover genres such as, like I talked about, some like hot comedy. In this one, it's neo-noir, murder drama.
It's definitely noir.
And it's crazy.
It's
and
crazy.
It's crazy all throughout because you have a will they or won't they? Is this a real thing? But at the same time, unlike, Sabrina or Love in the Afternoon, the chemistry is
white hot.
Ooh.
White hot. McMurray and Stanwyck are absolutely.
Stanwyck comes out in her blonde, which I didn't even know was a wig.
It is a wig. She's a redhead by nature.
Redheads.
Yeah.
But the wig, I didn't know it was a wig. But now I kind of see it now with, like, say,
It works because that's her actual haircut that she had.
Ace in the Hole. I would not be surprised if Jan was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if she wasn't because I was like, this seems very Stanwycky. But yeah, she comes out in a towel after taking a shower, meeting Fred McMurray in the lobby of her gorgeous, like, little mini mansion. She's like, oh, hey, Fred McMurray, like, let's screw my husband over. Oh my god, the photo ops, beautiful. But like, Fred McMurray brings the intensity. He's
He always has this like quiet stoicism about him that
Almost
makes him
arrogance,
sexy.
if not arrogance.
Yeah.
But it's like that's a good way to, like a sexy kind of arrogance. He makes it feel sexy, but at the same time, it gets him into trouble.
Oh.
It gets him
And
into
he
trouble.
utilizes
and
that in another of Wilder's films
Oh, really?
excellently.
Oh, okay. I know what you're gonna. I know.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Double Indemnity is great.
It's one of my favorite noir films of all time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it is absolutely foundational.
Yeah.
It's a necessity as far as
and it
goes.
has another staple of the noir, the 40s noir. Edward G. Robinson is also in this movie, and he's always Barton Keyes. He's incredible as Barton Keyes in this movie. Edward G. Robinson usually plays a gangster. Him and Cagney, who works in that other movie
But
that
he
we
was
just
also-
talked about.
Wasn't his last role ever in Soylent Green?
That's correct.
And
Soylent Green, really?
Yeah.
That was his last.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is fantastic and
Yeah.
also devastating because if you know what his role in Silent Green is, Soylent Green, sorry.
Soylent Green. Yeah.
It makes it that much more impactful in that way.
Yeah.
That was his way out,
I
and that was his last role. It's like iconic.
Now, obviously, you have not seen this movie, Double Indemnity.
No.
Where did you watch it,
Um,
or did you just do it? from-
actually, the first time I ever watched it, and probably those times from then on, was off of Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
Yeah,
and I
They
saw
play
this
it all the
movie,
time.
and my brain was blown.
yeah, they play it all the time. Travis, what do you got? What are your thoughts on Double Indemnity? Because I want to hear what you got to say about this one, because this is one of his best movies.
I think it's his most perfect movie.
Excellently put. Excellently
Probably, yeah.
put. I like how you put
And yeah, the other contender for his best also stars Fred McMurray.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that one. Trust me. I know which one it is.
Yeah, I know. Sparks.
And I'm gonna get to that one because it's my favorite one. But I'm not gonna get to it now. I'm gonna talk about one other film right before that. And the one I'm gonna talk about now is his first work with Marilyn Monroe from 1955. It features one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history, and it's the 7-year itch.
There
The
you go.
7-year itch. This is
Bam.
one that I did watch in pieces as a child because my grandfather was obsessed with
As he
it.
should be.
Oh,
So the iconic scene in this one is they are leaving Marilyn Monroe's character and the other actor, I forget his name, but he plays Richard Sherman, a man who works for a book publisher. He's just a regular old guy whose wife is out of town for the summer. She's in Maine because it's too hot in New York City. And basically, Marilyn Monroe is staying in the apartment upstairs from him, and she accidentally almost kills him, leading them to meet each other, talk to each other, and they're both very lonely people in New York City. And obviously, she looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they go and they hang out, and they go to see the creature from the Black Lagoon. On the way out, they pass a subway vent. She's wearing this beautiful white dress. So she stands in front of this subway vent and says, "Isn't that just delicious?"
Oh my god.
And the breeze lifts her dress and she goes, "Ooh," and she does the whole thing. And my notes for this one were this movie starts with a 2.5-minute intro of just soul bass music and imagery. And that's one of the coolest parts about this movie is the intro is 2.5 minutes and it's just Saul Bass artwork
Yeah.
with like jazz playing on top.
Which is always comforting and
Yes.
always a good sign.
Yes, just shapes moving. His son is annoying and I want to kill him. From frame one of Marilyn on screen, you're like, holy shit, we're in trouble.
Always.
That's her charm.
She is
though.
the problem
She is the problem.
because he has the 7-year itch.
That's correct. And that is a
Ah.
reference to a book that his companies might be publishing
Uh-huh.
that talks about how mature men, when they get to the 7th year of marriage, start to experience the 7-year itch.
Their
It's
eyes
only
start wondering.
exactly. The movie's only 91 minutes, so it's also good. The thing about this Richard Sherman character is he has a wild imagination, so he starts to make up scenarios in his head.
Okay.
Worst case scenarios.
So we're going into the whole like daydreaming too hard. thing.
Exactly. And we get to experience those daydreams that are happening too hard. We're there with them. Little casting note that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to wait till Shay shows back up to talk about it.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting stuff here. They never give Marilyn Monroe's character a name.
She doesn't have a name in the movie?
She's just called the girl.
Is that objectifying her
No.
at all?
No.
Or is that not?
No, I don't think it does because
Huh.
it means that her character isn't necessary. And the thing is, you could also theorize that the character herself doesn't actually exist.
Oh, that
That
just
she
fits it
is
right
part of his
there.
wild imagination.
Okay.
You could theorize that.
Yeah.
Because of the way that it's done. His boss, I did not like the performance there. His boss is overacting, like a motherfucker. Didn't like that performance. The creature from the Black Lagoon has that. Some of the aspects don't hold up. For example, the scene after they leave the creature from the Black Lagoon scene, he talks about terrorizing a young lady, and then in his head he starts to think, well, he's gonna tell my wife. Maybe I need to kill her.
Oh, whoa! It goes there.
It goes there.
Oh, wow!
Because again, Billy Wilder don't give a fuck.
But is this a Billy Wilder film that is drama, a comedy?
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy
for sure. And I'm gonna get to the comedic elements here.
Okay, all right.
The thing about it is, it explores some themes that you could very easily negotiate aren't great to talk about. So the biggest thing for me is Carolyn Jones plays Nurse Finch in one of his daydreams. He went to the hospital the previous year to get his appendix removed, started daydreaming about a nurse he thought was falling in love with him, and that nurse is played by Carolyn Jones. And you guys all may know Carolyn Jones from her most iconic role.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Morticia Adams on the Addams.
The most beautiful.
She's in that movie. She plays a nurse, falling in love with the character, and again, some of the themes are not really great. And I was telling Shay, I was just telling them, I theorized that the reason they never gave Marilyn Monroe's character a name in the movie is because she may not be real.
Oh, that could be totally true because in a sort of reality, she is the amalgamation of his fantasy. As is anyone.
Right.
To be honest.
Honestly, yes.
And in a certain point in the movie, we find out what she does for a living. And it very much... Okay, I'm going to give it away because this movie's from 1955.
Yeah.
She works on TV. She does dental commercials, but she also did a photo shoot in a book that he owns. He already owned the book, meaning he's already seen her.
So,
which gives weight to the fact that she could theoretically be just not real.
Just like a subconscious, like...
Correct. It's a manifestation of that 7-year itch.
Right.
But she's not actually real.
Yeah.
The ending is fucking fantastic. And it's a hallmark of what Wilder does with his endings. We talked about in the ending of Some Like It Hot, and the ending of Double Indemnity is another great example of the resolution is there, and maybe the way we got there wasn't expected, but it was what we were hoping to get.
It's the punchline.
Yeah, it's a punchline to a giant 91-minute joke. Travis, do you think I'm far off with my theory? And what do you think of the 7-year itch?
Well, I just happened to rewatch that earlier this week.
Yeah.
Because I owned the Blu-ray for a while and I just hadn't watched it yet. And yeah, I mean, I think that I hadn't thought about it, but the theory definitely sounds plausible.
Thank you.
And I think
sometimes I'm smart.
It's not one of my favorites, but
I love it, man.
I definitely like Tom Ewell's performance as Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Tom Ewell's performance is so crazy, man. He's so crazy.
Yeah, and he played the role on Broadway too.
Yeah, because it's based on a play.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense, especially considering the settings.
Yeah.
It takes place with this guy with an injury in his house.
Yeah.
Easy budget.
Easy budget. There you go.
And it's just a really good, I think it's a really fascinating exploration of the male psyche during a hot summer, away from his wife.
Yeah.
And the trouble he can get into in his own brain.
But it somehow doesn't even feel that problematic in the sense where his mind is literally just wandering.
The problematic stuff comes in when he thinks that, like I mentioned earlier, when he thinks that Marilyn Monroe's character may be telling everybody about him, and he thinks he needs to kill her in order to silence her. So,
but for me, at the same time, at least it's self-aware about that.
Yeah.
Because it's outright saying this is a male psyche who's kind of basically fetishizing this Marilyn Monroe archetype person. But at the same time, he's thinking all these toxic thoughts and what that could lead into without having to necessarily go there.
And they really know what they're working with Marilyn there. She's stunning in every scene that she's in.
I'm with Travis on that one, where it's like not my favorite, but I still feel like it has so much importance. Heart and humor, Marilyn.
That scene,
Sold.
that scene, that scene. It will be replayed until the end of days.
Yep.
Oh my god, what is it
It's-
like? One of the most pause moments.
It
of all
is.
time.
I mean, the second she
Next
does,
to Fatal
and
Attraction.
again, we go back to Bugs Bunny. He parodied that scene.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Mm.
He was in a cartoon drag in Maryland, and he did the whole air thing.
And I believe
yes.
it was Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd who was playing the Tommy O character in that particular
Oh
cartoon.
my god.
So
I used to
yes,
watch it
Marilyn.
as a kid so much.
So there you go. Back to Bugs Bunny. It always
And I
is.
definitely agree about the boss's performance. He's
He's
way
overacting.
over.
Mr. Brady's overacting, right?
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't imagining that, dude. Thank you. So we're gonna get to your last one, Travis. What you got for me, bud?
Okay. So I I've seen all but 2 of his American movies. I haven't seen The Emperor Waltz or Buddy Buddy, which people don't have many glowing things to say about them.
I haven't
But
seen him speak to him.
I'm a defender of his post 1960 movies, particularly 1, 2, 3, and Kiss Me Stupid, and The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. But my favorite of those later works is Avanti from 1972,
Nice.
starring Jack Lemmon
Okay.
and Juliette Mills.
Always good to have Jack Lemmon in your movie.
And it's a romance that really takes its time to develop.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah.
You said
Bill
it.
Hicks romance. He's like, give it to me.
I'm in. Give it to me. What's it about, buddy? Give it to me. I want it.
So Jack Lemmon's father has died in Italy. He was a businessman on a business trip there,
Mm-hmm.
and on the train ride there, he meets Juliette Mills, sister of Haley Mills.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
From the Parent Trap, ladies and gentlemen.
Parent Trap.
and
This sounds like before.
they end up staying at the same hotel
Okay.
where Jack Lemmon has to arrange for do the funeral arrangements for his father, and him and Juliette Mills they're connected in a way that I won't spoil,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
but they end up falling in love. They have a relationship that's really lovely, and it's kind of like similar to The Apartment in its relationship, but
You had my interest, but now you have my attention. You said
But
the two
it's-
words I want to hear when I'm
The
talking to the
Apartment.
mother.
it's a little more laid back, and it's just a lovely, lovely movie.
I like that. Okay. So it's a later work, and obviously that means that we're dealing with 40-something-year-old Jack Lemmon because he was 35 when he did The Apartment, and this is 12 years later. So he's like almost 47, 48 years old in this one. Why do you like this movie? Gotta ask.
Well, I think it's pretty much like like a lot of his best work
Mm-hmm.
is perfectly structured.
Okay.
It's it's calmer. It's a little more slower paced than a lot of his comedies.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
also-
he's notorious for that whip smartness. You know what I mean? That's kind of his thing.
Almost like breakneck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one, it's kind of it's kind of like a hangout movie in a
Okay.
way, just hanging around the hotel in Italy, and it's just a very kind of warm, kind of
I wouldn't expect warm. I like
like
that.
Kind of slice of life.
Yeah.
So it's more like a slice of life type thing. Okay, I like that.
yeah,
Now,
I'd say so.
where did you see this thing? Or where can anybody watch this if they want to? Did you do? Was it Blu-ray yet again?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber.
Again, Kino. I'm telling Kino, you guys need to start sending us your crap because we're gonna be doing these director spotlights.
But
You know what I mean?
the most
Jeez, just start sending us your
out
stuff.
of pocket cinema.
Yeah. Well, Kino does that. That's what they do. They have a lot of classics.
Send stuff.
Send us stuff. Damn it. All right, that was a good pick, and I love the 3 picks that you picked because I hadn't seen any of them. So Travis, that's why I brought you here because you picked movies that I never even seen. And do you know how rare it is for me when we talk about stuff to have not seen any of the movies that we're talking about? That just never happens.
You're always doing that. You're like saying or mentioning a movie, and I'm just like,
Uh-huh. I didn't see it.
So what is that?
I've never seen that one. No, thanks for being here, Travis, man. Thanks for bringing those picks because I've never heard of any of them, and I'm definitely going to check them out now because now I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to your very last pick, Gina, and I cannot wait to talk about this one.
Man, I love this one too.
I'm glad you liked it.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yes,
A heavy hitter.
I think it really stuck with me. Especially because for me, like I thought about it in 2 manners. I thought about it in the glorious old Hollywood feel that Gloria Swanson does with her like over dramatic and flailing on the bed and just and like that over dramatic. But then I flipped it to a more darker lens because I'm just naturally a darker person, and I'm like, this bitch is freaking crazy.
She is crazy.
Let's just talk about the borderline personality disorder that she exhibits, on top of the fact that like she's literally keeping him hostage because she like slices her wrist because he leaves. You know what I mean? Like, talk about the fucked upness that she's doing to this man. And like a lot of it was like kind of slapstick drama from her, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, this guy is sticking around because she said she's gonna kill herself. Like, that's crazy. What?
Okay, so there's I remember. So I watched a lot of Wilder's films off of Turner Classic Movies when I was a kid. They literally marathon him all the time, as you should.
They pick him as director of the month, and then they just put all his stuff on.
Like how ABC Family exploits the shit out of Harry Potter.
Or how Hallmark exploits, middle-aged white women.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Justice for middle-aged white women.
Listen, Karens need love too. Karens need love too.
But yeah, just this film is probably this is another one of my like all-time favorites.
Listen, Norma Desmond is one of the most iconic characters in the history of cinema. Period.
There's so much to navigate in this film that it's and what you brought up with the reporter too, and how he gets stuck in her like vortex and stuck in her like drama and all that, because that's what she was like in a way like conditioned to be, because what the setup is the character's name is Norma Desmond. Yeah, played by Gloria
Swanson, who, by the way, and I'm going to bring this back to what we talked about yesterday, lost Best Actress in 1950 to the lead character in Born Yesterday.
Was? Oh wait, what?
You're welcome.
What? Yep. No way.
Yep. We
I
just talked about this.
I guess I was also Born Yesterday.
Judy Holliday won Best Actress in 1950 for Born Yesterday.
Great movie.
And she beat Ann Baxter, Betty Davis, and Gloria Swanson.
Wow.
So the 2 actresses from All About Eve, which won Best Picture that year, and Gloria Swanson in her most iconic role.
That is insane. That is
Judy Holliday beat all 3 of them.
Good for her. Which, to be fair,
Born Yesterday is very good.
One of my favorite performances of all time from that era.
Yeah. Judy Holliday is very good in Born Yesterday.
She is the most charismatic, and that is an archetype.
Also, William Holden's great in that movie.
Yes.
I
Also
actually like him as an actor as
Mhm.
well. Like
Mhm.
because out of the three men that were in
These three
these
movies.
three movies,
Yeah.
he had the most seasoned approach, or at least he might not have been seasoned, but the way that he approached the character seemed to fit him like a glove, compared to Gary Cooper's felt a little too, I don't know, like it was too
Bill
stiff.
Holden also in a I Love Lucy episode.
I love Lucy in general. I used to watch that right after
same.
Rugrats. On what is it, Nick at Night? After
I love me some I Love Lucy. It's all
Yeah.
given out plus by the way.
Yeah, and I just stream in the background while I'm working. Yep.
Yeah. No, I remember me and my sibling would wake up at 8:30 in the morning to watch that on the oldies channel.
The oldies channel.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it's
TV.
called. That's you know.
Yeah.
So you would not watch them.
I would definitely recommend watching this one. I think that this one really was a good movie to start with, to introduce me to Wilder's movies.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed how like her fucked upness.
Yes.
It's so grandiose.
It was
too.
grandiose.
Some of the best character work ever.
Right. Just the way that they jumped off of each other, their codependency, their like
Cecil B. DeMille.
her twisted way.
I'm ready for my close-up.
The thing is, I could see myself becoming her in general if I was single and never got married. I would just be her.
But also, if you were a silent film actress who was dropped, which happened, which is coming back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
When the talkies started coming around, actors and actresses would lose their jobs because they weren't used to that aspect of filmmaking, the sound part. But not even used to it. Like literally the production studios and all that would be like, oh, we don't like your voice.
Yeah, like because they didn't have a voice, or like they were only silent, so you never knew what they sounded like.
Yeah, it's fine. And like Gary Cooper, like some actors were able to make that transition, but I think it's fascinating, especially with what Travis was talking about with the 1, 2, 3, that other film with communism. This is another controversial topic to talk about at the time, is confronting Hollywood with the idea that they left these kind of actors behind, or especially when you're an actress, in that time period, and how that's your value. Your value is based on everyone else's love of you, and if it's not there, then you get Norma Desmond. In my opinion, this was more of a horror movie than what happened to Baby Jane. In my opinion, what happened to Baby Jane? I like that bad. I've actually seen that one.
And that one has ironically best picture loser or best actress loser that year, Betty Davis. So there's so many iconic scenes in life in this one. We didn't need dialogue; we had faces.
Exactly.
Ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Yep.
Like literally
watching her own videos.
Oh my god!
It reminds me of Amy Winehouse. She did you know Amy Winehouse died while watching her own videos on YouTube? She had drank too much. And they just, when she died, she was found with them streaming just on there. So that's why when you say this is a horror movie, or like it's a heavy movie. I mean, she's very hilarious with the way she acts, but it's definitely
she's conditioned. She's a conditioned character, because she was like you were saying, when she's the journalist comes in, I forget his name. It's kind of irrelevant, honestly, because he's the audience's perspective coming into this aged quote unquote, even though she's like literally in her 40s,
50s
or 50s, whatever. Which at the time was like, oh, you're
ancient.
Coming in, seeing her watch her own movies, her younger self, you're like, wow, that's what you used to be, but now you're this person who's literally, it's like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
I used to be able to throw it over the mountains.
Only to this extreme extent, and it really is like it's almost a tragic comedy, but there's like, when you get to the end of it, there's no comedy left.
No, there's none left to be heard there. And there's a character in it called Sheldrake, and he goes back to that name 10 years later in another one of his movies.
Really?
He gives another character
in
another one of his movies the surname of Sheldrake.
Which is there a reason for that?
Which movie?
Well, we're gonna get to that movie very soon.
So yeah, I'd recommend it. I watched it through iTunes.
Yeah,
So I rented it.
That's well worth your $3.
Yeah, it was great.
It's worth more than $3,
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, you should definitely check. Oh, God, Sunset Boulevard's amazing.
Honestly, I would fight to say that other than Some Like It Hot,
Mhm.
honestly, Some Like It Hot is kind of almost in its own thing because it's a comedy.
Yeah,
It is.
It's straight comedy, and
It's
Billy
screwball
Wilder
comedy.
is more than successful at that.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like this black drama, which you were saying earlier, his films almost feel psychological.
Yeah,
I agree with that entirely.
it was psychological.
He has that edge and that angle that other directors didn't. He was confrontational like other directors weren't, and
Right.
was able to get away with it.
Right.
I would say this is his best dramatic
Yeah.
film.
She cray, and she did a good job being crazy.
Oh,
No,
Oh,
he might
wow.
actually be insane.
Yeah.
she is.
What is your last one? What you got?
My last one. So we mentioned Sunset Boulevard, which is another one of my favorites. Some Like It Hot, which is another one of my all-time favorites. But out of other than Sunset Boulevard, I would say out of Wilder's heavier choice topics, this is one of my favorite films. Honestly, of all time, when it comes to this kind of subject matter, which is a very dark subject matter, but how he navigates it is so nuanced and so personal. I wouldn't be surprised if it really came from within himself and that reference. So my last film is The Lost Weekend. And
God, it's a great movie.
if this is not a psychological film, I don't know what is. Because
it's a great movie.
It's interesting too, because while Wilder's films create and describe realities that feel almost like out of reality, or this one is actually like incredibly and visually out of touch with reality. And it's one of the closest depictions to straight up alcoholism I have ever seen. So it was released in 1945 and stars Ray Milland, thank you,
Jane Wyman,
and Jane Wyman.
She's so good.
And this,
Doris
like quite a few cast members, but in reality, it's really just about this one guy and his quote unquote lost weekend, which is the perfect title of all time. A beautiful title because it is a lost weekend as an alcoholic. He literally the first big indication that he is an alcoholic is literally him pulling a bottle of liquor that he saved out from outside the window, because it's very evident that he has a problem with alcohol. But he literally hid a bottle of alcohol outside of his window and held it by like a clothesline or fishing line, pulls it in when his wife leaves. He's like, you got to get your shit together, or otherwise I'm leaving you. And he's like, okay. She leaves and takes the bottle out, starts drinking, and that begins.
Goes on a 4-day bender.
Ooh.
And he's a musician, and he ends up selling his instrument.
And that's why it's called The Lost Weekend, because he's
4-day bender.
drunk.
This is like the original Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream was,
and Requiem is up my alley.
So this was his first movie to win Best Picture,
as it should.
and Ray Milland, I believe, won Best Actor that year for playing Don Burnham,
As he should.
our alcoholic leading man. There is a scene with the lights and the shadows about midway through the movie when he's going through an absolute halcyon psychosis.
Like full on, which I've never seen psychosis. Like obviously we have these later films that are a lot more honed in on that, but this is what did I just say? 45?
Yeah,
54.
45.
This is the most like bonkers psychosis like ever portrayed on cinema for me.
Yeah.
And it felt very close to home because at the time, like I also knew what that was.
Yeah.
But it plays into these surrealist scenes, but you're seeing it from the character's perspective. And that was insane.
Little known fact, it's such a good illustration of alcoholism that the alcohol industry, the liquor industry, offered Paramount Pictures $5 million not to release it.
Wow.
Billy Wilder said if they'd offered it to him personally, he'd have done it.
That's insane. But what else does that say about that film and his power as a voice to be able to be like, this is a problem. This is a problem that one guy, but also a bunch of other guys have. Yep. Going back to Ace in the Hole, Kirk Douglas's character is a full-on alcoholic.
Correct.
His second scene is literally him drinking at the job.
And in a 7-year itch, our main character's trying not to drink, but then ends up doing it.
Hey, that happened in
Marilyn Monroe.
In witness for the prosecution. The lawyer is an alcoholic and he is put on like probation, not probation. He's basically, his doctor told him don't drink, and
Correct.
like, oh wow, that just clicked.
Bam! Look at you connecting the dots as we go along.
Huge motif. This almost screams. Okay, so I don't know if you know what movie I'm gonna talk about as a reference. A Nightmare Alley again comes up because
The original, not the remake. Thank you.
The remake. Well, I haven't seen the original.
I like the remake.
We could talk about that.
The original's better.
I also had. We'll talk about that later. But it's the something hallway, and this was also a film that depicted psychosis in the 40s. And I saw it. It's more of a camp film from a camp sort of director, but the way that it also portrayed psychosis, it almost on a Girl Interrupted, but like it's Girl Interrupted, but the Lost Weekend. But the Lost Weekend, the Lost Weekend is that situation, but not yet reaching, not yet in the psych ward kind of.
I'll tell you, there's so many decisions that he makes that parallel a noir film as far as the way it's shot.
Interesting. Yeah.
But he just it really is one of his most complete performances as a director, because he's guiding Don Burnham, played by Ray Milland, to this inevitability of like, I have a problem, and it's really do not know how to
get away from it.
Very deep. It's surprisingly like very deeply felt.
Also kind of funny
experience.
It's a little bit funny.
It is deeply felt.
Now we're back to our feltage from last week. We're back here again.
Oh,
I love this movie, and I'm so glad that I gave that one to you, because I would have.
Oh no, I think I took it. I was like, that's mine.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites of his.
It is up my alley because it's I would if we were to describe it into a genre, psychological comes first.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yep,
and I think
it's an exploration. It's an existential exploration of alcoholism.
We all know I like that. So I'll definitely watch it.
This is it. This is it. And you're like, after you're done watching it, that was a lot.
I need a drink.
You're gonna need to watch the last movie we're talking about to get over the fact that you just watched that one. Which reminds me, Travis, let's get your thoughts on The Lost Weekend real quick, because I want to hear what you have to say about this.
I actually have somewhat mixed feelings on it.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you now. Anyway,
Go off.
Okay.
I think it gets a little too histrionic towards the end. Like Milland.
Okay.
Milland kind of. I don't know. I think it goes a little bit overboard at the end.
But I think
I might need to rewatch it.
I think that might be the point, though.
In my new perspective, I agree, because it very much leans into a Night of the Hunter expressionism.
Ooh. There's a lot of expressionism in it.
Where I think in like sort of, I like how you dropped also noir, because although it's not a noir genre,
correct,
it's very much filmed as if it was a noir. And oh my god, if you've seen it, you know which parts I'm talking about. But the parts where the horror hits, you're like, oh my god, and that's so dark, and it's very much deeply felted. But the expressionism is there, and I know what you're speaking on. Travis, where it kind of, but I think it also leans into it in the idea that he's literally spiraling, and he's stuck in this sort of mindset where he's just he's falling into it, and he doesn't know how to get out, and he's like in this dark space, he's going through withdrawals sort of thing. So for me it worked. It worked, but definitely it might not work for everybody in that sense, because it does really, really go into it. Not a lot of films.
It explores its themes heavily. I gotta say. Let's get to this last movie, because it's rant time, babies.
Let's go.
My last pick is my favorite Billy Wilder movie, and one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. It won Best Picture for the year 1960. Stars Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, and Fred McMurray as Mr. Sheldrake. Going back to what I just said. And it is called The Apartment. I love this fucking movie.
I love
God,
I love that fucking movie. I think it might have actually been the first Wilder movie I've ever seen.
It starts. The opening is fantastic. It opens with Jack Lemmon on a voiceover saying that the population of New York City is 8.5 million. I live in a 19th I live in the 19th floor of an apartment complex. I get paid this much a year. He's basically very statistical based, very analytical fella.
Yeah,
because he works for an insurance company. He's very, very bland.
Right.
Another insurance.
Vanilla.
Yes. And
Vanilla.
well, it's life insurance in this case. And everybody, all of his bosses cheat on their wives and use his apartment to do it. That's the premise.
Yeah.
Wow.
Including.
Does he charge?
No, but he's using it as a stepping stool up the social
Up the
ladder.
social ladder. Okay, so social capital.
And Jack Lemmon plays this guy, C.C. Baxter,
Mhm.
and I love this character so much. He's one of my favorite characters in cinema ever. He's just such an innocent, vanilla guy. He is in love with the elevator girl that works at his building, played by Shirley MacLaine.
The treasure
For me, and I wrote this.
Wait,
and I wrote this. I wish rent were still the price that he said. He pays like $1,100 a month for, like he gets paid $1,100 a month, and his rent is like $250.
Oh my gosh!
In New York City.
The time.
Jack Lemmon
They
as
don't
an
have.
everyman, it just works too well. It just does.
Mhm.
Can we talk about how stunning Shirley MacLaine is here? The Manic Pixie Dream Girl started
Stunning.
with Miss Kubelik in this movie.
Manny
But as a
Pixie Dream Girl.
Literally wearing an iconic pixie. Oh, the most iconic.
That pixie cut is the most
She's
iconic.
the pixie that started it all.
Yep.
There's a scene right toward the beginning of the movie when he finally gets up the courage because he's starting to gain some momentum. They give him a slight little promotion. He buys a bowler hat and asks Miss Kubelik, played by Shirley MacLaine, if she wants to go. He just somehow got tickets to a Broadway show, and he wants to take her.
Mhm.
Well, this is where the sad part of the movie comes in,
Here.
because she never shows up because she's busy talking to Mr. Sheldrake, who is the woman that Mr. Sheldrake is cheating on his wife with.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
Mhm.
Da da
Da-da-da.
Fred McMurray is perfectly cast
Is
and
it-
is subtly terrifying. The whole time you're like, this guy's a fucking asshole. I mean, I'm scared to death of this guy if I'm back.
Such terrifying, an interesting way to put it, because first time watching it, I felt so much anger towards his character.
That's what I'm saying. But if you look at it from Baxter's perspective, he's subtly terrifying to Baxter. Baxter's scared to death of this guy because he has all the power.
Mhm.
And I put McMurray Sheldrake as a fucking dick. That was
Yep.
one of my big notes.
Yeah.
That's his character, the dick.
I would like to point out that he was 35 years old. I'm almost 35 myself when he made this film, and he won Best Actor.
What's his name?
Wait, which
Jack
one?
Lemmon.
Oh,
Jack
okay,
Lemmon.
35
okay.
when he made this
I
movie.
thought you meant Fred. I'm like,
Oh no, he was like 40.
yeah, bet.
Yeah. But McLean was almost a decade younger than him.
Mm-hmm. As
Again, the young girl and the old guy.
We were talking about how a lot of Wilder's films have really, really iconic scenes. The ending of this movie is one of the most iconic endings in the history of film.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
So I'm gonna spoil it for you guys because fuck it.
Do it.
Why not?
Do
You
it.
guys should check out the movie anyway. It's New Year's Eve. Miss Kubelik finally realizes Sheldrake's never leaving his fucking wife.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, C.C. Baxter's realized that he doesn't want to allow people to use him in this way anymore. So he quits his job. He's going to move out of his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to leave. It's New Year's Eve. He's all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a knock on the door, and it's Miss Kubelik,
Mm-hmm.
and she's dressed in pearls. She looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wasn't she wearing furs too?
She was wearing fur.
My
She looks so
God.
good. She looks so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And
gorgeous, gorgeous.
He's confused as to why she's here. She starts to tell him, "You're right. I'm an idiot. I've never really had luck with men." And then he starts going off about how he absolutely adores her. He says, "Miss Kubelik, I absolutely adore you." And she just looks at him with the cards because they never finished their gin game. He goes, "Shut up and deal." And for me, that's not even the best scene in the movie. That's just the end scene. My favorite scene, which I think speaks volumes even now in 2022. One of the premier items that Miss Kubelik has on her is her compact, which has a broken mirror. Mr. Sheldrake left that broken mirror in Baxter's apartment during one of their liaisons between he and Miss Kubelik.
Right.
He says, "I think whoever you were with left this at my apartment." He gives it to Sheldrake. He's like, "I'll make sure it gets returned." Well, just let her know the mirror is broken. Fast forward to the Christmas party.
Mhm.
She's fixing her face,
Yeah.
and he looks at the broken compact, and he realizes. But he says to her, "Your mirror's broken." He says, "I know. I like that because it makes me look how I feel."
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's okay. So
Whoa.
that's one of the most. Yeah.
Oosh.
There's
That's
a
like.
lot of. Well, there's actually a lot of moments like that in this movie because there are just.
The
Miss
apartment
Kublai
is so brilliant.
I mean, not only is Jack Lemmon fantastic and their chemistry works, blah blah blah, blah, but
And they have
Shirley
such a non-sexual, sexy chemistry.
right, like platonic, but at the same time, it's just like
You
I
want
know
them to
him
be,
and
I
that's
deserve
achieved.
better, and maybe I deserve you.
you want them to be together because you know Miss Kubelik deserves better than
They're both being
Sheldrake,
taken
right,
advantage
and you know
of.
CC Baxter deserves what he wants.
Right. Right.
And what he wants and what he deserves is
Right.
not what he's getting.
They're
Exactly.
but they both relate to each other on such a way, and you relate to Shirley MacLaine's character in such a way. I did when I was watching it, and she was going through. We didn't even talk about half of what she does in the film, and it's not something like what happens in that movie, like other Billy Wilder works, is not stuff that typically you see
Right,
in
right.
those kind of movies, especially like even nowadays. You don't really see that kind of stuff without it being played for like blah 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 for a reason. But their characters are so full and so emotive and so relatable and so fun to watch, but at the same time you feel for them. It's like a tragic comedy almost, because you really feel for them. They're in like spaces in their lives where they don't know if they want to go one way or the other, especially Shirley MacLaine. But they both relate to each other on that level because they understand where they are kind of in this workplace hierarchy. They're bored, they're tired,
Yep.
they're being taken advantage of. But then they realize they see each other on a different sort of level where it's just like, hey, you're a person trying to get somewhere, I'm a person trying to get somewhere, and we're trying to be real with each other.
Yeah.
We know exactly where the other person's at. And the romantic part of that is so apparent and so like there and emotive.
What I love is it's not a romance that's forced, and it's not a romance that's even seems that it should be there.
Oh, so it's not like the main aspect of the movie.
The main aspect of the movie is getting to know CC Baxter, his situation,
Right.
and by default, what he wants in his life.
Right.
And all he wants in his life is to get a promotion and to marry that girl who drives the elevator.
Yep. Yep.
And those are his motivations for
Right.
the whole movie.
Right. Right.
He is trying to achieve this higher promotion because he thinks that's what will attract Miss Kubelik to him.
Right. Right. But she already,
without realizing that she doesn't really want that, because
No.
she wants is Mr. Sheldrake to leave his fucking wife, but he's never going to do it.
right. Right.
You know, because they
Yeah.
have their beautiful house in White Plains.
Which is something that you see a lot of, like those kind of
Now.
female
Mhm.
archetypes, female
Mhm.
characters kind of fall
Mhm.
into. But at the same time, the way Shirley MacLaine and Billy Wilder work together to work on her character does not, she's after something naive,
Yeah.
like a naive dream.
Yeah.
But in a way, that she knows it too.
Yeah.
She definitely knows
Exactly.
it. She's
Yeah.
already, the thing is, what's great about her character and what really brings this film together, along with the other parts, is she's a smart lady. She's a smart lady in a dumb, bad place.
Aww.
And that's one of the things that are fascinating about it.
That's the last scene of the movie, right?
It was in my head. This beautiful two-shot of these two beautiful people, just in this.
And she's in
normal
the
situation.
furs.
And
like
she hands him the cards and says, "Shut up and deal." And what do you do at that point? If you're
Right.
Jack Lemmon, you say, "Okay."
Yes.
You start
Sweating
cutting the
shaking.
deck.
Grab
You
it.
start dealing.
Yep.
Because I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, Shirley MacLaine, looking as beautiful as she looks in that scene at 26
Yeah.
years old, what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? You're
Yeah.
gonna do whatever she says.
Right. Exactly. Spicy lady.
Spicy lady.
She is very spicy in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, she's really spicy. I love this fucking movie so much. I could talk about this movie all day.
For real.
They just took it off Tubi TV, which is how I watched it.
Oh.
It is on Amazon. It's like $4. Pay the $4. It's oh my God.
Amazing movie.
I can't describe to you guys how funny, beautiful, nuanced everything is with this movie. Wilder is at his absolute best in The Apartment for me. It's my favorite movie that he's ever done, and it probably always will be. It's also, for me, one of my favorite movies ever made. Travis, can you hit us with just a few quick things before I get to the end of this?
Yep. So The Apartment is tied with Double Indemnity as my favorite of Wilder's work.
Good pick.
And there's a really great kind of chilling moment with Mr. Sheldrake when, Baxter calls him with some news.
Oh,
and
yes.
his wife comes up to him and asks, "What is it?" And he said, "Something at work. I don't know why they bother me with these things," in kind of a smarmy way, and it's,
Yes.
chilling.
I'm going to offer some context to that real quick, Travis. So, Mr. Sheldrake is on vacation in White Plains for Christmas, and he calls because Miss Kubelik has overdosed on sleeping pills. And these things that he's referring to is Miss Kubelik, which should show you his true intentions.
Right.
He doesn't see Miss Kubelik as a human being.
No, things.
Yep.
He sees her as an object for his end game. And it's that stoic confidence that Shay was talking about earlier. It's how he's able to deliver those lines, and how he's able to be such a fucking dick.
Yeah.
This whole movie.
That's what's fascinating. Another fact. The 100th fascinating on top of it. Fred McMurray is the worst. Yeah. But he's also fantastic at
being the worst.
So good in this movie.
He's charismatic as hell. But you hate him for it.
Am I wrong here, Travis? This might be the best that we've ever seen out of McMurray, especially and again, this is coming from somebody who loves Double Indemnity, but I think he's better in this movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Honestly, you're right. You're right in that because what was it? I think someone else was supposed to be casted for his role, but he ended up just stealing it. Like blowing everyone else out of the water. And he really was fantastic for it. And this was his first role that I've ever seen of his. Honestly, I think I'd have to agree with you because in Double Indemnity, he was fantastic, of course. But Barbara steals it.
Barbara steals it.
So.
And this, he's playing the villain. And he's so good at playing the villain.
But he's such an integral part of all of it.
You cannot have CC Baxter be as likable and as root forable.
Yeah.
That's a word, I just made it up.
Root forable.
Root forable as he is. If you don't have McMurray Sheldrake be just such a despicable piece of shit.
You got to have the contrast.
And it just works.
The foil.
You know what I mean? He is the Hercules to that son of a bitch's Hades.
Yeah.
That is so true. That's actually, okay, yeah.
Whoa, was my hair out? Absolutely, Mr. Sheldrake, go fuck yourself. And that we haven't even touched on the fact that the doctor's amazing too. Dr. Dreyfus, who's his neighbor, is fucking amazing in this movie. I love him too. God, everything about this movie, I could talk about it for hours. I love this movie. I'm glad we're finally talking about it. The Apartment is one of the best movies ever made.
It's
period.
End of story. Talking about, but never actually get to talk about.
The Apartment is one of the best films ever made. Period. A lot of my top 10 has movies made before 1960. This is one of them because this was made in 1960. And it won Best Picture, and god damn it deserved to.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite romance films ever.
Jack Lemmon lost Best Actor, but I believe Shirley MacLaine won Best Actress for her role here, as she should.
As she should. I'd be upset if she
because she's absolutely she's the lifeblood of this movie. She may not be the best performance in the movie, which I don't think she is. But without her, I think Lemon's performance. I think Lemon just destroys everything.
We're gonna fight because she is the best performance in that movie. Everyone else fits around her.
I like it.
If everyone fits around her.
If her character had been played any more naively or any more hardened, it wouldn't have worked.
No, Shirley MacLaine lost. She lost.
To whom?
Oh, we're about to find out.
Who is it?
We're about to look this up.
Man.
And I just wanted to say that the actor who played the doctor, I think he won Best Supporting Actor that year.
No fucking way, dude. You gotta be kidding me, right?
I think he did.
We're about to look this up because I have it all right here. I have the 1960 Oscars right here. I like that you're calling me on it though, by the way. I can appreciate that. Don't ever interrupt me again. Motion Picture went to The Apartment. Best Director, Billy Wilder for The Apartment. Best Actor, not Jack Lemmon. He was nominated and didn't win. Best Actress, not Shirley MacLaine. Elizabeth Taylor for Butterfield 8.
Oh.
That's Elizabeth Taylor's 7th best performance, and she won.
Oh my God,
Miss Elizabeth Taylor.
No, Best Supporting Actor did not go to him. He was nominated for Dr. Dreyfus, but did not win. He lost to Peter Ustinov for Spartacus.
Okay.
So you interrupted me to call me out, and you still wrong, Travis. Still. How dare you? Just kidding. Good stuff. You made me question it, and it was good. But he did win. Billy Wilder won 2 Oscars that year. He won Best Director and Best Screenplay.
You know where the Academy was probably at with that was like, whoa, we're giving this guy too many Oscars, so we gotta pull
Rein it
back a little bit.
But here's the thing: I've seen El Burnt Entry, and I've seen The Entertainer, which Laurence Olivier was nominated for, and Jack Lemmon's better than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Lancaster won.
Okay.
Same thing with Butterfield. I see Butterfield 8. I've seen Deborah Kerr in The Sundowners. It's like the 5th, 6th best Deborah Kerr performance.
Oh wow.
And
wait, Deborah who?
Deborah Kerr. She's also in From Here to Eternity.
No, she was in something else.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But McLean for me is better. They should have won that, and it should have been one of the only films in history of this illustrious award to win actor, director, actress, and screenplay. Do you guys know the other 3? The only 3 that have done it?
No.
Travis, do you know?
No, I do not.
Well, let me put you up on some game.
I want a hint.
You will get no hints. You will get the answer. The first film to do it was It Happened One Night.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Actor, Clark Gable. Actress, Claudette Colbert. Screenplay, I forget his name, the Jewish guy that wrote it. And then director and picture.
1934.
The second film to do it was produced by Kirk Douglas, who we talked about earlier, and Michael Douglas. And so they have an Oscar for this movie.
Wait, are they related?
Their son and father.
I never put that together.
Their father and son. So they adapted a book that Michael had read, and it was called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, yeah. We all know that one.
Best picture, best actor, best director, best actress, best screenplay.
If you can hear Landon's moaning on the other side.
And the last film to do it is the only horror film to ever win Best Picture, The Silence of the Lambs. So
tragically, the only horror film.
No. Fortunately. To be fair, though, Black Swan did not deserve to win that year, but maybe. Because it was pretty good. Inception was nominated that year, too, though. And Inception is excellent.
I love Inception.
It's excellent.
It's fantastic.
Inception was nominated that year, too.
But Black Swan was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Black Swan.
Yeah, it's excellent. But also, the Exorcist would have had it was nominated in 1977 against Star Wars and the eventual winner, Woody Allen's film. Yeah, well, don't fuck yourself. I like Woody Allen, okay? I like Woody Allen.
Yeah, separate the art from the person. Yeah, separate the art from the artist.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Always.
That's all I'm saying. Separate the art from the art, from the artist. Woody Allen was not, he won it for this in 1977.
Wait, was it Manhattan?
It was Annie Hall.
Oh,
Probably his best film. And Manhattan was 79. It's still a good film.
That's so, and it's not even like my decision necessarily where I'm like actively like, no, I don't want to watch these movies. But literally, I've never seen a single Woody Allen film.
You should.
I should.
You're good.
No, like legitimately, I should as a film major.
Honestly, yeah.
Just don't watch his last movie that just came out because it wasn't very.
What was
bad after a while.
Cafe Society or something?
That one was okay. Wonder Wheel was cool too because it had the Queen in it.
What about Blue Jasmine?
That's a great movie.
Okay,
Blue Jasmine.
I do love me some fun.
Kate Blanchett. He's working with good actresses because he had the actual Queen in Wonder Wheel. The other British Queen, who's amazing, Kate Winslet.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the actual Queen.
No.
Kate Winslet is the Queen.
Is the Queen.
She is a Queen.
Period.
Mwah.
End of story.
We love you, Kate.
We do. We love both Kates. Blanchett and Winslet.
Oh, true.
Although I was mad that
Kate with Kate.
That Blanchett beat Winslet for Best Actress that year because Elizabeth is good, but Clementine's one of the most iconic roles in film history.
Honestly, Elizabeth was mother.
Exactly my point. But her role as Clementine Krasinski is one of the most iconic in film history.
Yeah. I mean,
she should have won Best Actress that year because it was the best performance of 2005. Period. End of story. I will die on that hill and I will kill anybody who tries to argue.
I will die on that hill with you, and I haven't seen the movie yet because I know it'll resonate too hard.
The fuck, bro.
I know. I'm not.
Before we leave, let's before we sign off on that, thank you for joining us, Travis. Is there anything you want to plug before we let you go and all that?
Well, I have my own podcast called Warren and Noble on Movies.
Okay.
We've been doing it for about 2.5 months, me and my co-host.
Okay.
And we've been talking about Brian De Palma films.
Ooh. Saucy.
So,
indeed.
Yeah. So, anybody out there who wants to listen to that, that's available.
Where?
It's available on Spotify
Okay. And that's it?
and Podreel and other sites
So
whose names
Michelle
escape me at the
Branch
moment.
is available everywhere,
All of them.
all at once. Good stuff. Thank you for joining us, Travis. And they can follow you on Twitter at, is it FilmGuy97? Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And so before I let you all go here, let's just thank everybody for joining us today. We'll start with our resident doctor. She is in and taking patients. Dr. Gina Delgado. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we're hoping that you learned a little bit. And
I learned so much.
You need to watch The Apartment, though.
I'm going to have to watch The Apartment.
You're going to have to watch a lot.
I look forward to all of your guys' homework.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Next month will probably,
so you don't have to.
Next month will probably be less homework because I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't even know who we have as a guest yet.
We'll have to round table like now.
Yeah. Say, obviously. Oh, wait. Where can they follow you if they want to follow you?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Gina?
You can follow me on my comedy TikTok. I always get it wrong.
She's way fucking funnier than me.
At Dr.Chiquita, like Chiquita Banana, Ginita, Ginita. So that's at Dr.ChiquitaGinita.
Damn.
I hope I make you laugh.
Oh, damn. Okay, so I'm looking at your TikTok right now. 37.9 thousand followers and 1.2 million likes.
I really need to tell them to follow us on there?
And then we'll make a TikTok. We'll make a TikTok.
Make them do it.
Damn. That is awesome.
Yeah, because I want to start getting some money on this.
That we're gonna do that then. Let's get you into the creator fund.
Yes, please, thank you. And so my lovely and talented, always here, assistant and person in charge of most of the things I do here, my little sister, Shay Simone. Where can they follow you?
Oh, thank you, Hefe. So where you can follow me is at Limina_1999. Limina is spelled like liminal, but without the L. Don't follow me on Facebook or I'll kill you.
She will fucking kill you. And last but certainly not least, you can follow me everywhere at Film Snob Reviews. We hope that you will follow. And by the way, we're going to be doing a giveaway. All you got to do, it's on episode 14, the one right before this, where we talk about 2000 cinema. You got to leave your favorite 2000s indie films in any of the discussion posts, or you can hit me up on Twitter. We're going to be giving away a copy of 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, damn.
One of the best romantic comedies of the 2010s.
Damn, that's a good giveaway.
I think so, too.
Yes.
Trust me, it's a great movie, and I love it. And it is a stereotypical 2010s indie film that debuted at Sundance.
I mean, one can try to achieve the level of legendary bangs that Zoe Deschanel has held. She's held that crown for decades.
It's good bangs. Those are good bangs.
I try, but I'll never.
Yours are too long.
Are they really?
To be that iconic? Yes. They're
Where's
still.
Cologne?
No, hers only go like to right here.
She's probably got a small forehead.
She does.
I got a big forehead.
Some of us don't have 16 heads, Shay.
What? Excuse me.
You heard me.
I have enough forehead for 16 babies.
That's exactly the point I'm making.
Okay.
We hope that you guys will join us. And by the way, make sure you take advantage of everything that we're on. We do have our own merch store. We'll be in the discussion in the description of the damn podcast down there. Go buy some stuff from TeePublic. There's some really cool designs, including a It Happened One Night design, which has that I made myself, and I love it. There's also a Trip to the Moon one that's a variant that is reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. It's a mashup that I made.
Oh shit!
So
I'll buy one out.
It's on TeePublic/Film Snob Reviews. Check that out. Make sure you're following us, liking us, and you can follow my regular Twitter if you want to see me talk shit about video games and stuff.
Woohoo!
Will Leguizamo at Twitter. For Film Snob Reviews, this has been the Snobcast. This has been episode 15. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I don't know what the fuck we're doing next month. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.